Okay. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi man wala amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum. How's everyone doing? Good? Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Welcome, firstly, here. If this is your first time, welcome. If this is your second, if this is your 20th, if this is your 200th, welcome here. My name is Abdullah Oduro. Okay? I converted to Islam myself around 26 years ago, something like that, 23, 4, something like that, years ago, from Houston, Texas. And I lived here in Dallas for 4 years so far. Alhamdulillah, upon embracing Islam, I had the opportunity around 2 years after my embracing Islam to go and make the pilgrimage. Made the pilgrimage, I got lost, long story. Can talk about that at another time, but I got lost in a country where everyone was speaking Arabic. And that's where I said, it was during the ceremonial practices, and inshallah we'll talk about the pilgrimage of Hajj. And that's when I said I want to learn Arabic. So when I came back, I tried to learn Arabic, started learning Arabic, fall asleep in the dictionary every night, and then alhamdulillah, I had the opportunity to go and study overseas about a year after that, and I've been there for around 8 years. And alhamdulillah, just coming back to America, was able to, and still am, able to get involved in teaching and helping the communities, inshallah. That's a brief overview of myself, but what's most important for me right now is to get to know you all, inshallah. I hope that this class and these times that we'll spend together will be a time of reflection. It'll be a time of bonding, with each other. As many of you know, Islam means submission and surrender to the Creator of the heavens and the earth for means of peace and salvation. That brings a brotherhood and sisterhood. That's the strongest bond, meaning that I love you because you are someone that recognizes who your Creator is and how I translate that in my life on a daily, weekly, monthly, lifetime. Okay? So there's going to be times where we'll share stories, and understand, I totally understand, that if one does not want to share a story, and please do not feel awkward if someone may ask you a question and you wish, I wish not to share that. And if you do, I highly respect that, because it takes a lot of courage. Many of you have your own personal stories of how you came into Islam. There may even be a story of courage to even come here today. There may be some friends that you told, and they're hesitant on coming. Okay? That reality, alhamdulillah, I've been aware of, I'm aware of. So I know it takes a lot of courage for you to come here today, or a lot of zeal to want to learn more. Either way, it's a praiseworthy characteristic, and I ask God to bless you all and keep you strong in that endeavor. Okay? But when getting started with this, as we mentioned, we wanted to start after Ramadan, but feeling that it's important, I know as a convert to Islam, wanting to know the basics of Ramadan. There was one friend of mine, Enrique, he embraced Islam on the first day of Ramadan. And it was very, very easy for him. No, it wasn't easy, it was very, very hard for him. Because he's told, you can't eat and you can't drink, for 30 days. But when this month is coming up, I really want you all to have your questions ready, ask your questions, share reflections. Please don't feel any reflection is a minute reflection, a minor reflection, an irrelevant reflection, because it will benefit someone, okay? So those are some of the guidelines that I have. Also or some of the reminders that I have for you all. Also, in this class, please feel free to ask a question during any time. I'm just going to mention a couple of points. It's not going to be long, extensive PowerPoint. It's going to be just maybe 1 or 2 sentences or 4 or 5, and we're going to converse over that. It's not going to be me speaking a lot. I'm a very, very, very interactive teacher, okay, person. I want to make sure that you understand what I'm saying. If you do not understand, believe me, I will not get offended. If I say understand, you're like, okay, we'll go over it again. Not a problem, okay? I want to make that very, very clear. I've been teaching for over 25 years, so I may explain something that you may not understand, or I may not be clear in understanding it or in explaining it, so please let me know. So with that, I want to have each one of you introduce yourselves beyond your name. I would like your name, when you embraced Islam, where you originally came from, like Dallas or from another city or state or continent, and your social security number. What's so funny? Nice job. All right, let's start from the right. This one.
My name is Zach. I converted about a month ago.
Congrats.
And a month ago, you said? I can't hear you. I converted a month ago.
Okay. And you're from?
California.
Cali. Nice. So how you liking you a month ago?
I moved here in September.
Okay, I was about to say, okay, I was thinking converted came about. If you came about a month ago, welcome to the snow coming from Cali. It's not.
I lived in the snow 3 times, so it's
Where was this?
I've traveled a lot. I used to live in Maine. I lived in Arizona. I lived in California.
Wow.
Here.
Wow. Okay. So how are you feeling Dallas?
It's nice. It's cheaper. Definitely cheaper.
Yeah. Oh, in Cali. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was on my own since I was 17, so living out in Cali, it was difficult.
Yeah, man. I can imagine.
A
But
lot of tough times, but
yeah, man.
man.
Weather. With the weather, how you doing?
Weather's decent. It's not bad. I was out here in the summer and it wasn't bad. So
Really?
because I lived in Arizona too.
So it's dry. It's like hot, dry weather, right?
Dry weather in here. It's more humid, but it's not.
Okay. Give me one word, just one word. And this is the other question I'm gonna have for y'all. One word that describes your conversion, like when you were thinking, when you actually did it. I don't want you to give me the whole event. That'll be another time. As you've been asked like 69, 70 times, right? Just one word that describes that experience that you can remember. If you could just give me a flashback in your mind and then just the word that comes to it, the word association. Calming. Calming. Okay? Good. Name was again? Zach. Pleasure to meet you, Zach. Yes, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum.
My name is Selene, and sorry, I get nervous talking.
Sure, that's okay. It's okay.
I live in Dallas.
Okay. You've been here for a while? Dallas for a while?
All my life.
Okay. Mashallah.
I converted in 2020.
Oh, about
Year.
a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Mashallah. So, one word that describes your transition, conversion. One word. Just when you did it, what's the first word that comes to your mind?
I would say determination.
Determination. Okay. Calming. Determination. Okay. Good. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, I'm Alyssa. I converted sometime last month. I think maybe about 2 weeks ago.
Wow. Okay.
And
Congrats.
I came from Arlington, Grand Prairie area. I moved down here about 2 years ago.
So like, okay, the north. Okay. Okay. I was born in Arlington, actually. I was born in Arlington, and my dad went to UTA, and then left Arlington to go to Houston. I was about maybe 2 years old, something like that. Cooper Street, in that area. Cooper, yeah, somewhere over there. Yeah. Okay. One word.
I would say that it was a big relief, but also was very overwhelming.
Okay. What do you mean overwhelming?
It was just, I don't know, my emotions took over, and it was very overwhelming. But mostly the relief, because it felt like I was holding my breath until that time came.
And then after that, it was calming. So it was overwhelming in the beginning, but then after you did it, it was like, it's exactly how it felt for me. Exactly. I always say relief off my shoulders. It was like there was something, it was like an unanswered question. And then when I did, I was like, oh, I always said, the smoke is clear now. Now I understand why I'm here. Now I understand. Now. Yeah, definitely. Congratulations. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Sandra. I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
Moved here last year, and I would say, I guess one word to describe. I reverted. I embraced Islam maybe 3 years now.
3 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
In Arizona.
In Connecticut.
In Connecticut. Okay.
And I would say a word to describe, there's kind of like a lot, but I think, like maybe there was more, like I felt more connected.
Connected to God?
To God.
To God. So you felt there was a stronger connection to God once you made that choice. Great. Okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Excellent.
So when I grew up, I went Hala on my Islamic trip. I became a Muslim in 2012, and I started practicing in 2015. It took me a minute, so
Okay. One word to describe your conversion.
it would be relief because I waited so long
Mm.
my shahada, and I really wanted to for a long time, but I wouldn't tell my mother to come to my ceremony. So by the time I did it, I was just so relieved, happy.
MashaAllah. Good. Good. Glad to have you here. MashaAllah. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Ashley. I converted to Islam in Eid 2019.
In Eid?
On Eid 2019.
What's Eid?
Eid.
What is it? Like the party, like the end of Ramadan party.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up here in Irving, Texas.
Uh-huh. Irving, you grew up in Irving, Texas? Give me one word to describe your conversion.
Light.
Light. So light, like there, you saw the light, and then you saw what? What did the light allow you to see that you didn't see before?
I guess like I was Muslim, like my beliefs were like Muslim the whole time.
Mm.
Like a light bulb moment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Int-
Organization.
Interesting. So you always believed in a deity, and it didn't sit well with you that the deity was like his creation, Jesus in particular. Okay. Okay.
I always felt like Jesus growing up, Jesus was a prophet.
Was a prophet. Okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Okay. Okay. She was like, she's 10 and a half. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. I called her. She was like, okay. Put her on the spot. I'm so sorry. MashaAllah. Yes, ma'am. Hi, assalamu alaikum. How you doing? I didn't mean to get you while you're writing your name. Yeah. What we're just asking is roughly name, where you're from, and when you actually made that choice to convert, and one word to describe that conversion, if you're willing. You said Mary Martin? Welcome, Mary. Hmm?
I am from Mexico.
Okay.
I came 21 years ago.
Wow, okay.
I'm married here. I have 4 children. 3 of them are here. 3 of them are with
Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Good. Great. I like it. All right.
2 of my other children are with the father.
Okay.
I'm currently divorced. Got divorced last year. I embraced Islam on September last year.
Okay.
And, well, it's many things in my life, many ups and downs, but I think one of the thing is that I have so many questions that didn't make any
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And first of all, I wanted to learn more about God.
God. There you go. Yeah.
I felt that in my heart, and I wanted learn more about it.
Excellent. Yeah, that's natural. I mean, every human being has that. And we're going to talk about that natural ingrained characteristic within you that has an overwhelming desire to find out who he is And then after you find out, it's like, okay, what do I do about it? Like, what am I supposed to do? You know, and we're going to talk about that, inshallah. So what's one word to describe that conversion when you did it? What's one word you would just use? Faith. Okay. Good, good. Okay, so we're going to get started, inshallah. So as we mentioned, this is called the Ramadan preparation for Reverts. We're going to talk, I'm going to send the schedule out to y'all. Today, it's just going to cover Ramadan, a description and the goal. What's a general description of Ramadan? And what is the ultimate goal of it? Now, everyone has their personal goals, you know. Back then meaning before we became Muslim, it'd be like your New Year's, what? New Year's resolution. You'll find that Muslims may have like a Ramadan, what? Ramadan resolution, right? That's like the new beginning. That's like when you're really trying to spiritually uplift yourself, to charge yourself up, right? Because that's on a mainstream level, the most religious month of the year, let's say. You want to leave an old habit, you want to do something good, you know, this is the month that you do. It's like a bonus month, right? Generically speaking, many times you'll find people, you wouldn't know that they're Muslim, they're not practicing, not praying, doing anything, but when Ramadan comes around, they stop selling the liquor, they stop doing this, they stop doing that, right? And we're human beings, we all have our mistakes, but Ramadan, generically speaking, if you were to say that to anyone around the world, they're like, oh, you're Muslim? You practice the Ramadan thing? Ramadan is one of the generically known, many non-Muslims know about it. But what we want to do here, inshallah, as I mentioned, I'm so grateful to Allah that y'all came, because you wanting to learn your religion is so important for you now. It'll give you a strong foundation when you move on in life. Particularly that first pillar of Islam, which is who is God and who is the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. When we talk about who is God, there's many things that we're going to be talking about. Okay? Who is the Prophet Muhammad? There's many things we're going to be talking about. What is a prophet? What is the relevance of a prophet in our life? Who is Allah? Who is Allah and what is he not? And why does that matter? Okay? Inshallah. So Ramadan, as I mentioned, it's a month that, subhanAllah, you're going to go through some interesting experiences that you will face with yourself. But as I want to say to you all, firstly, is welcome home. This was something that was mentioned to a brother that embraced Islam in Ramadan. And it was so many Muslims. You're going to see in Ramadan, hopefully this year, I don't know, in this mosque, you're going to see the most Muslims that you'll see in the mosque at night, praying together, eating together, laughing together, arguing together maybe, right? We're human, that happens, it's going to happen, right? That may happen. But you're going to see a lot of people together that have that same general concern, same general importance in their lives, right? This was mentioned to that brother. It was an older African-American gentleman, embraced Islam in their early 70s. And I was with the brother, and we walked up, and he looked up, he said, welcome home. And when he said it, it just really hit, right? It automatically hit. Just what Sister Mary, what she mentioned. She said, you know, I just wanted to, there was something that I had this feeling about God. So welcome home is like you're coming back to that initial feeling that you had. You know that feeling before? Selene, right? Selene. Who told you about Islam? Who was the person that told you? A friend of yours. When you decided to make that choice, when you were thinking, wow, was there a feeling you had like, was it like oh my God, I never heard this before, or I heard about this before and I think I want to do it?
Not that I felt when you told me.
Yeah. Did you hear about it before he told you?
Well, I actually, he just questioned the religion I was practicing, and then I realized how different our religion was.
Mhm.
And then I asked, can I have a Quran? And then I just read the Quran. So the Quran was kind of like my guide.
Nice. So the Quran was speaking to you. Were there some times it was like, wow, was it a new experience in some things you're reading, or was it more of, man, I've already felt this way. I never knew that there was something that addressed this that I was feeling.
Yeah, it was more clarity.
Clarity. That's the home that I'm talking about. That's the home, right? It's those feelings that you had that was there initially, but it was kind of cloudy. And the Quran, a friend that is telling you about the Quran, Islam, brings clarity to that. And that's exactly how it was for me. So that's what he told him was welcome home. And that's what I want to tell all of you. You're going to seem strange to some people. Family members, friends, neighbors. You're going to seem strange. You're going to seem weird. That's fine. Okay? As long as you understand that your belief is not strange. As a matter of fact, it's very simple to explain to people. How many of you have explained your experience to a family member? Okay. Sometimes we feel bad that it's strange to them. Right? Because we have to understand they may associate it to a certain what? Islam, they may associate Islam to a what? Terrorist. What else? To a what? So what's that? Historical event. What about a certain type of culture? Right? Why are you trying to become Arab? Why are you trying to become Pakistani? You're not that. Are you talking to some guy that's he's trying to, right? Right? So, when you come home, it's like, no, none of that. God, let's just talk about God. This is the feeling I have. Sometimes it's hard for them to understand. But realize, you having that feeling, welcome home. It's not strange. I'm here to let you know, in case you didn't, right? That it's not strange. It is something that is natural. It's very simple. It's the one that created everything. That's the one that I worship. That's it. Nextly, welcome here to the Valley Ranch Islamic Center. Welcome to the mosque. How many of you, this is your first or second or third time in the mosque? Okay. Now, I really want to congratulate you all because in the midst of COVID, in the midst of what's going on, you're still coming to a mosque, right? It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage, right? And me even talking to you and you willing to ask questions and answer them about who you are, where you're from, takes a lot of courage. I really do appreciate that, okay? Coming to the mosque is something that is so beloved by Allah. As you will see, it's a place of worship. How many of you used to go to the church? Or a place of worship, or any type of spiritual place. Doesn't have to be a church, anything, right? So that is kind of what the mosque is. It's a place to where you want to come and show your gratitude to God. It's specifically built for that purpose, and that's the ultimate goals of it, is to show gratitude in basically worship of God in different ways. Okay? So welcome here. Why am I saying that? Because, man, I was about to say Chris. It's not Chris. What is it again? Zach. Zach, man, you're going to go to some mosques as soon as you walk in. Oh, assalamu alaikum. Right? And then they're going to go speak their language. That's what's going to happen. They're going to look at you, sister, what is it, Lysandra? Lysandra. Let me say, hey, okay. You walk in the mosque, you're like, assalamu alaikum. They're like, assalamu. They give you those just it's like, and then they go off into the little group with everyone that looks like them, and that's it, right? One thing that's important for us to know is that we're human. How many of us are familiar with the word complacent? What does complacent mean, Alessandro?
Like, like you're kind of, you know something is wrong or right. Oh, thank you. Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, is it like when you know something's either wrong or right, but you choose not to do anything about it? So you're being complacent?
Okay,
or
that
is
could
that,
be
okay.
yeah, that's good. That could be a sign of complacency. Yeah, you're right. Uh-huh. What else? What's the other meaning of complacent? What's a synonym of complacent? Zach, what you got? Huh? Okay. Trying to please people?
Like everyone around you?
Yeah, it could be, that could be one reason that you stay complacent. Right? Like Zach, for instance, you said you left wherever you left. I don't want to,
Yeah.
right? If you were just like, well, this is just a job, whatever. I'm getting my money. The manager sucks, it's terrible. Anyway, whatever, I'm just here to get my money. That's complacent. Right? You're just comfortable. You don't want to change. Right? So if you're in an environment, how many of you had a new supervisor come in, right? As soon as a new supervisor comes in, oh God, who is this guy, man? They're gonna make me have on call. They're gonna, you're automatically like, they're gonna get us out of my comfort zone. I don't want that. We're human. We all face that. So if you're in a place of worship and they speak the same language that you don't speak, you come in there, in the beginning, it's not comfortable for them. It's not comfortable, right? You're going to face people that will do that to you. But that's why it's our responsibility as those of us that have been in the mosque for a while to make sure that that environment is lessened. Why we say lessened? Because as human beings, we feel that all the time. And we're used to being around people like us, each and every one of us. Not even the color, but even the culture, for instance. Right? So that is something that you will face. That you may not feel. Let's see if this works. You may not feel what? A little louder, guys? You may not feel welcome. Okay? You may not feel welcome. I'm not saying it to you, but I'm just saying just general. Right? You may not feel welcome. There's been many times. I mean, let's just be totally frank here, okay? I've been in mosque. I'm a black man, okay? I'm a black man. As soon as I speak, someone will say, wow, you speak good English. Okay? Right? You speak good English. In some places, if you're Caucasian and you embrace Islam, they'll ask, where are you from? Like you're not from America. How can you be Muslim and be from America? Me, I'm African, so that's like the way out. Right? And I said, born here to speak. That's the reality. Let's call a spade a spade. That's the reality. You're going to face it, but the guideline for you that's very, very important, you separate the doer from the doctrine. You separate the what? Doer, meaning the Muslim, the practitioner, the one that practices the faith from the what? The doctrine, the religion. Islam is perfect. Muslims are? Muslims are not, because they're human beings, right? So it's very important. I want y'all to remember that. Welcome here. And this mosque does a great job, mashallah. Not just because they're letting me give the presentation and PR, no. They do a good job. And they take this into importance. I mean, look at the sophistication, right? Very good job. Zach, can you read this verse for us, please?
O you who have believed, decreed upon you is fasting as it was decreed upon those before you, that you may become righteous.
This is a verse in the Quran, okay? As many of you may know and may not, and it's totally fine, that our religion, the religion of Islam, is primarily based off what is mentioned in the Quran and in the life practices, statements, and approvables of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Okay? That is what Islam, the text of where we get our proof or what we should do and what we shouldn't is based off of those two things. All right? Now this verse is in the second chapter of the Quran. The second chapter of the Quran is called Baqarah, which means the cow. Every name in the Quran has a specific story behind it or a relevance here. Okay? Now this was the cow, called the cow. This verse is particularly talking about Ramadan. And this verse is the actual verse that substantiated or mentions the obligation to fast. Okay? Because he says, oh, you have believed. Oh, you who have believed. Why aren't you working? It's up there? Okay. Oh, you have believed. Decreed upon you is fasting. Is what?
Fasting.
As it was decreed upon those what? Is it Elisa? So what do you think he means by those before you? The prophets, okay, and what? And who else? If it's the prophets, it also means the The followers, the people. Thank you. Very good. So what is this? If you were talking to your non-Muslim relatives, right? Let's say Christian. How many of you are familiar with what they place on their forehead sometimes? What do they call that? Ash Wednesday. What do? They fast. They fast. Why is that kind of important when you have dialogue with people that don't know about Islam? Say it louder. Where's the mic? This is a mic moment. After you say it, drop the mic, by the way. Just, yeah.
You can find the connection.
You can find the connection. Huh? You handed the... Right? You can find the connection because people will think that Islam is what? Foreign. Strange. Right? To a certain continent. Right? That Allah is your God. My God is another God. Right? So this is important on those before you. So fasting is prescribed. Remember this verse. Chapter 2, verse what? 183. Chapter 2, verse what? Exactly. That you may become righteous. So this is one general description of the obligation of fasting in Islam. Now, the obligation of fasting in Islam is only for 30 days, or it's for 1 month. It could be 29, or it could be 30. Okay? Generally. So look, it doesn't explain that here, but it'll explain it in other portions of the Islamic text. So here it says, perhaps that you may become righteous. This is important, ladies and gentlemen. This is important. That when God is talking about fasting, the ultimate goal, and I'm using this adjective very importantly, the ultimate goal of fasting is righteousness. Okay? Mary, when you hear the word righteous, what's one action that comes to your mind?
Oh, try to do the best, to do something very perfect.
To do something that is?
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. Such as?
Behave the best you can.
Behave the best that you can. You know, it's interesting you said that because the Prophet's wife, her name is Aisha, right? She said the Prophet Muhammad was on his best manners in Ramadan. Meaning that it doesn't mean like he was bad, you know. But he would go extra, he would go harder in Ramadan. Meaning, increasing his prayers, charity, staying up in the middle of the night. And we're going to learn, even in the last 10 days of Ramadan, he would stay in the mosque and wouldn't leave. Right? Okay? So this is important. The goal of this is to become righteous. And that's why when I mentioned, you'll find some Muslims, they're Muslim, but you don't see any signs of practicing. But in Ramadan, right? It's like they're another person. You don't see them. Where were you? Oh no, it was Ramadan, man. I have to leave off the this and that and this and that. The this and that and this and that is stuff you shouldn't be doing anyway. Right? Right? It's not like one time, it's regular what they're doing. Now I'm going to leave off the smoke and I'm going to leave off the lime, I'm going to leave off this and that, right? So here, this is the ultimate goal. Why? Because Ramadan is voluntary, listen to this closely, voluntary deprivation for spiritual conditioning. Voluntary what? Y'all aren't fasting now, right? Okay, y'all can speak up, it's okay.
But we have some freshmen if they want to.
He said, we got some carbs back there if y'all are tired, just, right? Voluntary what?
Deprivation.
For spiritual what?
Condition.
One more time. I thought I heard Maria. I don't know if I heard her. You may want to hear the microphone. Yes, one more time. Voluntary what?
Deprivation.
For spiritual what?
Condition.
Okay, now you know I'm going to ask out of break. I told you I'm very interactive. Selena's going to hate me by the end of the class. You know, it's fine. We're brothers, we're sisters, and brother. Yeah, it's all good. All right, Selena. Selene. Voluntary deprivation. Can you explain that?
Voluntary deprivation.
Like depriving yourself?
You want me to explain it?
Think of it, you're sitting at your family reunion or your friends or Someone that is asking you why you are a Muslim and why you're not eating. It's 12 in the afternoon. I know you're hungry. I was with you all day. Why are you not eating? And you say, I'm fasting. What is that?
You're voluntarily fasting. You're willing to do it without no one telling you.
Okay.
It just comes. I don't know.
Yeah, you're there. You're getting there. So when you're depriving yourself from something, you're not what? You're taking something away from yourself. You're keeping away from something.
Yeah.
Depriving yourself is not giving yourself something. It's not taking something in which you can take or which you should take. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're doing that voluntarily. In the case of Ramadan, Alyssa, what are you depriving yourself from? She thinks she's off the hook. But so it's okay. It's okay. Let's just play along like she's off. It's fine.
Food, water, sometimes, or I'm not sure exactly, but music, I think certain TV shows for married couples.
Certain
There's
TV
other
shows
things
like-
as well.
Okay. Tom and Jerry, is that allowed? Or?
I don't know.
No? Okay. He's like, Tom and Jerry. I saw you over there. Yes, you're depriving yourself primarily of food, water, and relations with your spouse. Okay? Those three. The other things you mentioned, generally yes, but we get a little more specific in that. Just generically being on your best manners of doing what you know is right and staying away from what you know is wrong. You're held accountable for your knowledge. If you do something wrong and you don't know it's wrong, Allah won't hold you accountable for that, inshallah. God willing. Okay? Okay. So voluntary deprivation, we got that out the way. Zach. Oh, Zach. For spiritual conditioning, what is spiritual conditioning?
Preparing yourself to preparing yourself, getting yourself ready to take God in. You're building your relationship with God.
That's it. That's it. That's exactly it. You're preparing yourself. Conditioning, you're preparing for something. You're preparing for, when you condition yourself, you're preparing for something. You're doing something over and over and over and over again in order to get better at something or in order to get used to something to where when you meet or do that thing, you're in good shape, right? So this one is spiritually. When we say spiritual, what do we mean, Ashley? Mm-hmm. When you think spiritual, what do we think stars? Do we think rainbow? Do we think incense? I don't know.
I think of like certain I guess religious acts, like maybe prayers. I guess like actually living the faith.
Living the faith. Okay, yeah. Living your faith. So faith is something you believe in, okay, that sometimes you can't see. It's not tangible. It's a feeling, right? So when we say spiritual conditioning, you're voluntarily depriving yourself for a spiritual reason. You're doing this to get closer to God, right? So, Selene. Oh, you're fasting. Oh, so are you doing like the intermittent fasting thing? That's why you're fasting, right? It makes sense. Okay, I got it. Is that it?
No. What? What was the question?
So you're not fasting for health reasons? If I'm playing your family member.
I
You're
would
looking at me like I'm the family member now.
No, I would say no.
No? Then okay. So you're voluntarily depriving yourself. Why? Why are you not eating and drinking? Remember we said spiritual conditioning. How would you explain it to them?
I would see it as I would not be eating or drinking because that's the way that
Mhm.
you become more humble, like closer to God. You feel like
Mhm.
your connection with God grows stronger somehow. I don't know.
No,
but-
that's it. Yeah, you did. No, you do know. You do know. You know it, but articulating it, I could tell. I could tell. That's good enough. No, exactly. You're depriving yourself for something much greater. And especially when people that are non-Muslim see you're not eating, you're not drinking for spiritual reasons. Some people that are not spiritual will say, okay, you're trying to get that connection to whoever you're, whatever and whenever and however. It's cool. It's cool. Some say, okay, you're depriving them for God. Wow, that's a commendable act. If they believe in God themselves, right?
Mhm.
So yes, it's something that at least a person will say it's a commendable thing that you're doing that for that reason. Okay? And that is the essence of righteousness. You're depriving yourself for that reason. Voluntary deprivation for spiritual what? Conditioning. And conditioning is showing that it's something, what, Zach? You're there with me, yeah. What is it? You mentioned it earlier.
Spiritual.
Preparing yourself to get closer to God.
Yeah, you're preparing yourself, so it's something continuous. It's not just one time. It's not just one time. All right, first of Ramadan, good. I'm back to the real me. Right? No, I always tell myself first and the Muslims that Ramadan should serve as a starting point to gain a new habit. You'll find a lot of times it's kind of like New Year's Eve or Christmas. You know, 'tis is the season to be jolly. Outside of that, yeah, jolly, not jolly, it's okay. But 'tis is the season, right? Ramadan should be a beginning. Okay, I want to start to pray the first prayer. After this Ramadan, oh God, make it easy for me to pray this first prayer. I want to stop wasting my time at this certain time of the day that takes me away from the prayer. You know, this month, you have that oath with God. And each one of you have your own. We all have our demons in our closet. But inshallah, the closet gets smaller. Right? Ramadan is the best, not the only, but the best time to work on that. And we're going to see why. Okay? So that is the verse. Please don't forget this verse. This is the verse that substantiates, that shows that Ramadan is fasting is not something new. Therefore, when we fast in the month of Ramadan, which is something that's newly introduced, being 30 days, it's not something that is new, being that it's a righteous practice. Someone that's religious sees that Muslims fast, it's going to, oh, okay, y'all fast as well? But then when they hear 30 days, like, wow, that shows a level of commitment.
They're more shocked when you say you don't drink water.
Again,
Like, people look at you like you're crazy when you say that you don't drink water or food. The shock comes when you say no water.
Yeah,
For me personally.
of course,
People look at me like I'm crazy.
yeah. Who in their life has not drank water voluntarily, you know, for, let's say 16 hours? Because in that night you can drink water, but it's just during the day. Right? Oh, yeah, it's definitely a shock factor. Yes, sir?
Oh, no. I was agreeing.
Oh, you're agreeing.
I've done it.
You've done it. The fast, or said that it was strange?
No.
I'm just joking with you, man. All right. That's what we wanted to capitalize on. So when we talked about the goal, this is the ultimate goal. There are many other goals, but the main goal here, ladies and gentlemen, is righteousness. Righteousness. Righteousness are continuous acts of gratitude to God. When you're doing that act, you're conscious that this is for God. Because you may be praying, the prayer we just prayed, but I'm thinking about, oh, I got the new Muslim class. Okay, are my notes? Okay, all right. Am I focused? It could be, oh God, oh Allah, allow this lesson to be a good deed for me on the scale when there's no return, on the day of judgment when I need my good deeds. Oh Allah, forgive me for being late. Oh Allah, forgive me for whatever the case may be. That's what I'm talking about. When you constantly think like that, and the more when you walk around on this earth, you think about, what am I doing, and is that showing a gratitude to God, or is it showing ingratitude? That is a process of a righteous person. Miraculous things can happen to a person that thinks that way. How many of you have had things that happen in your life, and you're like, I don't even know how this took place, and it's something you wanted? Right? That shows that there's something beyond your ultimate control that has control. right? When you're righteous, you recognize that. When you're trying to be righteous, right? And another caveat I want to mention. I, nor any minister, imam, does not have the right to say that you're not righteous. We all think that, but sometimes people will make you feel that you're not righteous, right? No one has the right to do that. Remember that, because you're a new Muslim or whatever, or you're not from a certain group or whatever. No one has that right. Only Allah knows what's in your heart, okay? That's why when we talk about someone that's religious, the religious person is the person that tries. That's it. If you're praying 4 times a day and you hope in your heart to pray 5, but you're not a morning person, and you're trying, you're setting your alarm, 2 weeks go by, you still wake up with the sun in your face, and you know the morning prayer was an hour ago, right? I was one of those people, right? God knows if you care. He knows if you're trying. That's the religious person. That is the religious person. There may be someone that prays 6 prayers a day. They pray the 5 and then they pray 1 at night. But they're constantly talking about people. They're constantly yelling it. When they come in the masjid, they're, Assalamu alaikum, how are you? When they're at home, right? Allah knows who's righteous, right? Okay, the Islamic calendar. The Islamic calendar follows the lunar calendar. We have what is the Gregorian calendar, which is the calendar January, February, March, April, May, June, July, right? And we have the lunar calendar, which is determined by the moon, okay? Which is roughly 354 days, okay, instead of 365. So you will find throughout the year that the Islamic calendar will not correspond with the Gregorian calendar. Meaning, well, firstly, the months are different. The months have different names. But you will not find the 15th of Ramadan being the 15th of April every single year. No. It skips about every 11 days a year. Okay? So do not expect to see the 15th of this month in the Islamic calendar to correspond with the 15th of this month in the Gregorian calendar. Is everyone with me? Yes? Now, I'm going to teach y'all some Arabic words while we go along. How many of you are familiar with inshallah? What does inshallah mean? Huh?
If God wills.
Okay. Inshallah means if God wills. Okay? What does assalamu alaikum mean? Peace be upon you. All right, we're getting somewhere. Okay. All right, so the crescent moon marks the beginning of every month in what? In Islam. Y'all seen the symbol for Islam, right? It's the crescent and the what? The star. Star has no symbol in Islam. It's just to distinguish us if we're in an interfaith event or something like that. Right? But the... Say again? That's a good question. I don't know. It's a good question. She asked... The moon... Yeah, you'll find if you're like in an interfaith event, or if you want to use the Islamic logo, you'll see a crescent and a star, right? You ever seen that? Yeah. From an Islamic, perspective, like, does it have a significance in Islam, tracing back to an event in Islam, a verse in the Quran? No. The star doesn't. The moon just symbolizes the mark to determine the entrance of a month, which is Islamic and outside of Islam, because it's the lunar calendar. We Muslims use that entrance of the month of Ramadan, because we want to find out when Ramadan, starts. There you go. Now, is everyone with me? Okay. When do you see the crescent moon? The beginning of the month. What part of the day do you see the crescent moon? There you go. Late afternoon. Well, late afternoon. Yes, ma'am. We're going to see, because noon is what time, Zach? 12. Late afternoon is like what time? 5, 6, evening, right? That's when the sun disappears and the evening comes, right? And that's when the moon will show. And that actually is the entrance of the prayer called Maghrib, right? Which is the fourth prayer. Right, there's 5 prayers. There's the fourth one. And then you have one more called Isha, which is the night, night prayer, right? That is when the day starts in reality, in Islam, in the lunar calendar. The day starts when the moon is shown. For us in the Gregorian calendar, the day starts sunrise. So in other words, sunset is the entrance of the new day. Right? Is everyone with me? That's just the lunar calendar rule, right? The day starts because we follow the moon and not the sun. Is everyone with me? That's important. Why is this important? I have to mention this bombshell, and some of the Muslims are going to laugh, but what time is it? Okay. The entrance of Ramadan. Go ahead.
Like the evening, like one day, like to be like the evening of the day, like after Maghrib, basically the day before.
After Maghrib as well?
Like after Maghrib, the day before. Like normally we would say, oh, I'm gonna start fasting in the morning, but Ramadan started the night, like when the moon was, when it was after Maghrib.
Yep. So it's Monday.
Yeah.
It's Monday morning. You start fasting in the morning. But when did Monday really enter? Which day? Sunday evening. That's when Monday started. And we're saying Sunday evening because we're following the Gregorian calendar. Y'all with me? You understand? Yeah. That's where it kind of gets kind of difficult for those that prepare Ramadan schedules. Right? Yeah. And I'm also saying this is because when the Maghrib prayer is done, that fourth prayer that determines when they see the moon, you will see Muslims in some mosques standing outside waiting to see the crescent moon. This is one of the authentic ways to do it. This is what the companions used to do. They didn't have all of those utensils to determine, right? To see if they see a crescent moon, then they'll announce to their communities, fast tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Y'all ready? Y'all listening? Let me know when y'all are done writing, because I'm about to drop a bombshell. Just tell you something. Okay? Some people will use modern technology to determine when the birth of the moon is. Is everyone with me? Therefore, they do not have to wait the night of to go outside and look at the moon. Because you realize, if there's a prayer, Muslims are waiting to see if Ramadan is going to start the next day. Do we have to fast the next day? Is the next day the first of Ramadan, technically? Well, the first of Ramadan would be if they saw the moon. Right? Why am I saying this? Zach, ask me, why are you saying this? But I want you to look like this when you're asking me. Say, why are you saying this, dude? I'll tell you why, Zach. I know this is hard to believe, but Muslims disagree with each other. I know this. I know this is difficult to understand. Mary, I know. I can tell. I can see on your face. You're like, what? Muslims disagree with each other. We disagree. You know what? Sometimes we even argue. Can y'all believe that? Elisa, do you believe that? Do you believe me? You do?
I'm thinking I know where you're going.
Where am I going?
So this is a Sunni Islamic centers, right? And so Shias, they kind of calculate it a little bit different.
Okay.
So that would be the difference, or what did you say? The disagreement.
Disagreement. But guess what? Even amongst the Sunnis, they'll disagree on this. I'm not going to get too technical with y'all, but the main reason I'm telling you this is because if you see your Muslim mentor saying, I'm going to follow calculations meaning that I already know when Ramadan is going to start a year before because they follow calculations. They know they estimate when the birth of the moon is going to be. Another person may say, your other mentor or your other friend be like, no, you can't do that. We have to see. Okay? Just know they're both Muslim. It's fine. Choose one.
So neither is wrong.
Neither is wrong. Okay?
But would you recommend then
Yeah, you don't. Very good. You heard what she said, Zach? Yeah. Yeah. So that's one logical reason that people would value or choose to go and look at it and do not look at the calculations because of the experience. But again, I said Islam is based off of what primary two things? Quran and what? Right. So you'll find within the sayings and teachings that the Prophet said, fast when you see it and break your fast when you see it. Now I'm getting a little academic here. I'm just going to dip in and dip out. Okay? Okay, I'm dipping in right now. Okay? See, does it mean with the eyes or does it mean with an instrument? Who are you to say eyes? In 2021. See, this is the argument. It's not an argument. This is the discourse between scholars. And as you know, Islam is a religion of scholarship. It's not just, okay, yeah, we'll just go with this. Have you studied Islam? No. You know Arabic? No. Have you memorized the first chapter of the Quran? What's the first chapter of the Quran? These kinds of people are not going to tell me how to practice my religion. You understand now? Okay, now I'm out. I dipped out. Now we're done with that issue. I just wanted you to understand that this is one of the major issues that you'll find within the Muslim community. Do not let that deter you from coming to the mosque, from not speaking to Muslims that you disagree with. It's totally fine. All right? I'm really pushing this and mentioning this because I've seen this happen time and time again. And I will continue to see it, particularly with converts. Why don't you go to that mosque? Man, the Muslims so much drama over there, man. They can't even determine when Ramadan starts. Are you kidding me? Right? Choose one, keep it moving. All right? Now, these are the 12 months of the blessed month of what? The Islamic calendar, which is a Gregorian or lunar? Lunar, exactly. So you see here, these are the 12 months. Actually, 12 months are mentioned in the Quran. Right? He said, "Inna iddat ash-shuhuri inda Allahi 'ashra shahran." Said that verily the number of months with Allah are 12. Right? And he mentions that fiha arba'atun hurum, that there are 4 blessed months. But here, Ramadan is the 9th month. Okay? Ramadan is the what? 9th month. Right now we are in Rajab. Okay? The month of Ramadan, the month of Sha'ban is also a month that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used to fast. It's not an obligatory fast. It's a preferred fast. One of the reasons behind him doing that was to prepare for the obligatory fast. Okay? And she and his wife Aisha, she actually said that he used to fast all of it except a little. That's how I said in Arabic. So basically he would fast the majority of the month. Okay? Hajj, y'all remember Hajj, the 5th pillar of Islam? Hajj is performed in this month. Dhul Hijjah. Okay? Anyone have any questions, comments before we move on? So Ramadan is rough. Oh, this is a good example. Yes. Ramadan is going to be April 12th. Some mosques, if I also go to the message, Assalamu alaikum, my brothers, alhamdulillah, inshallah, Ramadan will be April 12th. Some Muslims may say, no, brother, how do you know that? You understand now? Right. So, roughly, Ramadan is April 12th or 13th, roughly. Just to stay away from any this and that, okay? Which means we have about a month and a half left, okay? Now, we just talked about which month in the lunar calendar year Ramadan is. It is the what? Which month? The 9th month, right? Okay. Now, when does the fasting start in Ramadan? Or in any time. Anytime you want to fast as a Muslim, inside of Ramadan being the obligatory fast, or outside of Ramadan being the you don't have to, you can, non-obligatory fast. Is everyone with me? Selene? You with me? Ramadan, you have to fast. Outside of Ramadan, you don't have to, preferable to fast. Either way, you get reward. All right? From who? Who? Allah. From God. Okay. All right. Now, what is the time span for fasting? As we see here, this is the daytime, and this is the what time? Nighttime. So the day starts, dawn. Here. This is just giving a rough time. Mind you, throughout the year, the times are going to change. Literally every day, Maghrib Salah, the Salah that is coming up, prayer, is going to change by the minute, as the days go. Okay, including daylight savings, it'll change. Okay? So here, dawn is when one starts their fast. Everyone with me? So let's say dawn is determined, and see, determining these times is calculation. They use calculation on this to determine the times. Yeah, I'm not going to argue, but it used calculation to determine the times here. Okay? So let's say dawn comes in at what time, Zach? 6 a.m. Nighttime in the blue, you can eat, drink, everything's okay. All right? Yes, man, exactly. From 6 p.m. to 5:59 and 58 seconds. Thank you. 5:59 and 58 seconds. Why not 6? Yes? Yes, yes. Right? So if you have an Adhan clock, what is the Adhan? Who knows what the Adhan is? The Adhan is a call to prayer. So Zach, if you walk in the mosque one day at Valley Ranch, you by yourself, and it's like, have you called the Adhan, brother? Calling the Adhan means saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. That's called the Adhan. Adhan comes from the word udhun, which means ear. So Adhan is the call to prayer. There are some apps that are pretty reliable. There's one called the Adhan app, which is probably the most reliable. If y'all have any suggestions, please let us know. That will tell you the entrance for every prayer, the time the prayer comes in. Okay? There's a schedule out here. It tells you the time of the congregation of the prayer. It's a slight difference. I'm going on a slight tangent. It's kind of important. So, dawn comes in at 6 a.m., correct? The mosque, you may see prayer, Fajr prayer, 6:15. And you're like, I thought it comes in at 6. That's the time that they congregate. They give a 15-minute gap for people to prepare, to drive, and all of that. Okay? If they made it 6:25, it's not haram. It's fine. Haram means not allowed. Right? So that's when it comes in. So if you set your clock for like 5:50 or 5:45 or even earlier than that. Why? Why did I say that? Your what? Well, okay, she knows wudu. Okay. Wudu. What else? Remember. You should what? Like eat.
Prepare your meal, I guess.
Prepare your wudu, prepare your meal. Yeah. Right, exactly. So you want to have your breakfast. You know, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he said to eat it's called suhoor. Everyone say it, suhoor. Again? S-U-H-U-R. Okay? To have that to the closest time to when the Fajr prayer comes in.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
So, what I don't understand is, so you wake up, you prepare your meal, and then you do wudu, and then you do the prayer, or how does?
You can do wudu whenever you want. There's no special sequence.
It doesn't affect, like, if you. Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Right, because the prayer is because of the entrance of the time. It's the Fajr prayer. Because that's the time. Let's say that dawn comes in. The call for the Fajr prayer is the sign of the entrance of Fajr time.
Yeah, I get confused with that because, like, I have the app that lets me know, like, when the prayer will happen.
Uh-huh.
But I'm like, what if, like, if I'm busy, I don't know if I have, how long do I have to actually perform
Excellent question.
the prayer, you know?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Let me answer this, and then I will get to that. Okay? So 5:50, 5:45, 5 o'clock, use that time to pray, to eat, okay? To eat, to get strength for the rest of the yellow. Because you cannot eat or drink for this whole time span until you get here. Okay? Yes?
The very first to add on, a question was, so they really, like, you can, because I think this is last year was my first Ramadan I spent with family, and I was very, like, they would say, like, oh no, like, stop drinking, stop eating, but even before Adhan, like, it was just very close, like, maybe 5 minutes. Is that actually an issue if, like, you have 5 minutes before Adhan to continue eating?
Literally, Islamically, you can eat all the way to 5:58.
That's what I was thinking.
Totally fine.
Sometimes it was a lot of pushing, like, oh,
Some people are doing that just to ensure that you.
make it before.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Because it is risky. I mean, it's like.
And that's why people do it. And it's fine, and they're doing it trying to be, looking out for you, looking out for your best
But it
interest.
isn't like, I'm doing something wrong.
No, if you're sure that, what's the name?
Like, I'm going to vote down before, like, maybe 5 minutes before.
It's a better practice,
Yeah.
right? Just to have that practice, just to ensure, right? Now, the Fajr prayer, prayer are time spans. So, Fajr comes in at what time, Selene? 6 p.m. So at 6 a.m., you'll hear the Adhan called on your app, in the mosque, whatever. That's the time that the prayer comes in. In Ramadan, that's the time that the Fajr time comes in. That means that's when you should start fasting. The prayer, you can pray Fajr from this time to when the sun rises, or all the way to when the sun, well, this is actually, there's the birth of the sun. So they call it the true and the untrue Fajr. Basically, when you will see, there's two types of display of the sunlight. Okay, you will see a vertical light. Okay, and then when it rises more, it'll become more horizontal. All right. In any case, the Fajr time is a time span. Roughly when the sun rises and it's fully risen, that is generally the time for Fajr to be prayed. Okay? Now, if you wake up and the sun is up and it's like 10 a.m., still pray Fajr. If you wake up and the time has passed, you still pray the prayer that you have missed. The best time to pray the prayer is as soon as the time comes in. So say Dhuhr time, the noon prayer, is at 12:05. It comes in at 12:05. You don't plan to go to the mosque and pray with the congregation. They pray at 12:30, right? You're at home, work, whatever the case is. If it comes in at 12:05, at 12:06, go make your wudu if you need to, and then pray at 12:07. Totally fine, the best way to do it. Maghrib comes in at 8:37, pray at 8:38, 8:39. Best way to do it. Isha comes in at 9:05, pray at 9:06, 9:07, 9:08. Best way to do it. But if you can't, it's totally fine. Isha's from 9:05 all the way to midnight. You could pray at 10, you could pray at 11, you could pray until midnight, 12.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Right? Right, you'll find some that say midnight, some say all the way till before Fajr comes in. Either way, nighttime. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. Okay, so this is the time span for fasting. It's all the way, this time, all the way till sunset. And what's the sign of sunset, Islamically? Okay. Okay, yes. Okay. The Crescent Moon. And the call to prayer again. Right? The call to prayer. So as soon as you hear that call to prayer, you will see Muslims in the mosque. Exactly. Y'all come to the mosque, you'll see Muslims, hopefully this year, maybe not, because COVID. But usually in the mosque, you'll see people, they'll be like plastic runways. I don't even know what you call them. They're just like plastic, you got it, right? Sheets, maybe. That'll work. And they put like fruits on it and dates and stuff. And Muslims are sitting there. They're waiting. They're talking with each other. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You'll see another Muslim. They're reading Quran, right? You'll see some Muslim. They're making dua. You know what dua is, guys? Prayer, like supplication. It's kind of you putting your hands and you're asking God, give me this. Oh Allah, give me this. Whether you do it like this, whether you do it like this is for severe situations. But if you do it like this, or like that, either way it's fine. Doesn't matter.
So I keep seeing videos on YouTube where they talk about this is how your dua is accepted, this is how if you do this it'll be invalid. So are there any, what are the rulings for that?
Not even gracious,
Great question. We're going to talk about all that. But yeah, now, in Islam, there are certain preferable times to make dua. You can make dua, you can put your hands up and pray anytime. Anytime. But it's not preferable to do it in certain places that are maybe impure, like you don't do it in the bathroom, right? But you can do it at any time. Just a generic, and I'm saying generic, dua, just to pray. In your car, when you're about to go to work, anytime, right? Now, it doesn't mean if you don't do this, you can't pray. Like if you're driving, you don't like put your knee on the wheel and no. You could just, oh Allah, forgive me for this. You just thought about something you did. Oh Allah, forgive me for this. Oh Allah, forgive me. Oh Allah, make inshallah, the good deed that I did, please expiate that previous sin. Something like that, right? It's fine. That's fine. Now, as far as the Fajr prayer and things, there are prohibited times for Fajr and Asr, which we will talk about, inshallah. Okay? So, with the Maghrib prayer, let's say it comes in at 6 p.m., right, Zach? Comes in at 6 p.m. As soon as, if you know in your app, or you're at the mosque, and you see the people, at the time when the sun is going down, it's preferable to pray. It's preferable to ask God, because the sun's coming down. It's preferable to do that because the dua, the prayer of the fasting person, as the Prophet said, is not rejected. So when you're in this voluntary deprivation for spiritual conditioning, you want to increase yourself in those spiritual acts. From them is what? Good. From them is punching in your time clock. You came in late. It's 6:07, and it's 6 o'clock, and you walk to your boss. Hey, Zach, you just got here? Yeah. That's my guy right there, Zach. The manager knew you got late. He just said, "Hey, you just got here?" And he's like, "Yeah, I just got here." Hey, it is what it is. That's the righteous act right there, man. Right? So yes, when that Adhan is called, you will see Muslims that are down here, they're rushing to get their food to break their fast. This is also preferable. Now when I say rush, I don't mean, no, I don't mean that. I mean you just get the food as quick as possible as a mercy. You understand? This is what the Prophet ﷺ said. That he said the Ummah will continuously be blessed when they do this action. And again, Allah knows that you're trying. Allah knows that you're doing your best. In some cases, you may not want to look at the food. You may want to, if you're cooking, like Mary, if you're cooking and it's Ramadan, turn the what do you call it, the vacuum thing? The exhaust. Because if you smell the food, oh God, I can't. Yeah, Allah loves the patient. I remember this brother, when he yeah, that's preferably not to do that. It's preferable not to do that, right? His brother, when he used to prepare his food in Maghrib, he said, Allah is with the patient. Allah is with the patient. He just constantly repeated because it was so difficult for him. It was his first year. But in any case, that's when one should start to eat. Okay? Just a side point. How much time do we have? Okay. You want to, fasting is very, very healthy, by the way. Very healthy. Okay? So when breaking your fast, you don't want to because your body is going to absorb and really attach itself to whatever it consumes at that moment. So if you consume a lot of salty food at that moment, you're going to feel very bloated. It's going to take in all that water that you're consuming. So it's preferable maybe consume some fruits, some light food, dates, vegetables, or dates, watermelon, right? Get you some water, replenish yourself. And then 30 to 45 minutes after, then you eat some food, inshallah. Okay? So that's what's preferred when you break your fast. Drink some water. Don't drink a lot of water even. No, because you're going to get bloated. You're going to feel bloated, right? That's the general description of when one starts the fast and when one breaks their fast. Okay? Does anyone have any questions regarding that? No questions? Yes.
What happens if you sleep in?
Sleep in.
You know, Fajr's at 6, but I was up late praying and so tired that I missed 6 o'clock. Can I still fast?
Good question. So Fajr comes in at what time, guys?
6.
Selena was making a lot of dua. She just met Maria. She said, Maria's a nice person. And while she was thinking at, 3 in the morning, she got up and she prayed for Mary. She prayed for Mary. She just prayed. She started crying. She got exhausted. She goes to sleep at 4:57 a.m., guys. 4:57 a.m. She wakes up, closes the curtain. She realizes it is 10:51 a.m. Selena is starving. What can she do?
Like, you're making intention to fast when you wake up, or not to fast?
No.
No?
You can't what?
You can't fast now?
Oh, you can fast. No, you have to fast.
Yeah, that's what
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Can you eat?
Can she eat?
Well, then
Oh, you have
just
to
would not, you just not fasted that day.
Do you not fast or you just eat a little bit and then fast?
I don't know.
What do you think, Zach? Let him know, Zach. See? The professional faster. No, you have to fast.
So you don't eat nothing.
So, yeah, just don't pray for Mary. That's simple. No, you have to fast. You have to fast. Yes. You have to fast and just complete that day. And Allah knows, what you're attempting, what you're trying, so you have to fast. Another question. You're visiting your non-Muslim relatives because you want them to see that you're okay. It's the 15th day. They thought you were going to die. They thought you were going to start speaking another language because you're wearing this thing and you're acting all weird and, you're not doing things that you used to do. In this weird month of, what's it called? Ramadan? Yeah, it's the 15th day. You're going to show them, look, I'm not eating, I'm not drinking, I'm fine. Okay? You sit at the table. Your mom makes some dish that you haven't seen in a while. And then she's talking to you about the relatives that just came, and you're like, yeah, what were you saying? No, I haven't seen her so long. How's she doing? Really? And then your 7-year-old nephew comes, Lisa, aren't you doing the not eat thing? What do you do?
I'm not sure. I don't know if the entire thing is invalid if you mess up, or if you have to make up time.
Okay.
To make it up.
Mary, what do you think?
If I'm finished, I remember that don't eat it.
Say it again?
As soon as I realized that I should fast that day and I'm eating for whatever reason, I forgot it, I stopped eating.
You stop eating. Yes, that's right. Next question. What was the last question? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so is it invalid, the entire fast, or do you have to make up time?
Tell him. Zach. No. If you've forgotten, take this as a general rule. Well, it's not going to be totally general in all cases, but let's just take this, understand in this particular case. If you forgot during your fast and you ate or drank, do as Mary said, okay? And you don't have to make that day up. You just stop eating. And you continue your fast. And you count it as a day of your fasting. It counts. It happened to you. It's how.
Okay, one more question. So last Ramadan, I participated even though I didn't do my shahada yet, but I participated and I didn't have too much knowledge on how exactly it was supposed to go and everything. I had the general basis of like the time and everything, but I got severely dehydrated because, like I said, I didn't have all the knowledge that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, could I have, as soon as I replenished myself and like, because I stopped because I got basically sick, I was really dehydrated. So after I had fixed that, could I make up that time that I messed up?
Were you Muslim?
No.
No. No. No, at that time, no. It doesn't. It's particularly, this obligation is for those that have embraced the faith of Islam. Right?
No, I'm just saying, like, if that were to happen again or anything to anybody, because I know that there are some people who have medical issues where they can't.
We're going to talk about that. Yes.
So I'm saying that last time, even though I wasn't Muslim, just in case that happens again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
If something were to happen and
Yes, ma'am.
I were to become sick or just severely dehydrated,
Yes,
could
ma'am.
I replenish and then make up that time?
Yes, ma'am. If you replenish and continue eating because of your sickness or whatever the case may be, then you'd have to make that day up. Very good question. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. A pregnant woman, an elderly man that takes glucose, right? Dialysis, right? Do they have to fast or not? Are they considered sick or not? Is a pregnant woman considered, take the case of a sick person or not? What level of sickness constitutes permissibility to break their fast? Is it just a migraine headache? Or is it a small headache? Or is it a migraine headache? We're going to talk about that, inshallah. Okay? Good question. Any other questions? Okay, so that is generally what we talked about. So talking about fasting, the main goal of this is to obtain righteousness. It's an internal experience before external. Fasting is a sign of ultimate sacrifice for the one that brought you into this earth and can easily take you away. So when you do that, remember, it's voluntary what? For what? Spiritual conditioning. Please remember that. Also, a small thing. I'll talk about it, but some guidelines on things to eat and drink when fasting, yeah. One thing you want to break your fast with is like electrolytes. So if you get like some electrolytes, like we'll talk about it inshallah, to bring that back to hydration. When you want to prepare to fast, it's good to get some fiber. So like oatmeal, dates like a superfood. It's been even rated as a superfood. It has good amounts of sugar, good amounts of potassium, and fiber as well. So fiber keeps you feeling full. Not like Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Reese's and honeycomb and all that stuff, right? All that sugar. You're gonna feel hungry. You're gonna feel dehydrated, right? So yeah, we'll talk about that inshallah. Fruits is good because they give you some good sugar to give you energy, inshallah, like watermelons, even mangoes, right? Some good fruit, inshallah. Any other question? No questions? Okay. Jazakumullahu khairan. Jazakallah khair means may Allah reward you for coming. Please spread the message to your friends. If any one of you that know about anyone that you may know that can come to this class, please let them know, inshallah. We'll be having this on Sundays at this time. We're probably going to start a little later, inshallah ta'ala. If you have any comments, you can come to me personally, speak to one of them, leave it online, inshallah ta'ala. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for coming. I hope you benefited from this, inshallah. May Allah bless you in this beautiful month and in the months to follow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.